fucking potted
Welcome
meat,
to the United
bitch.
States
At this
of
point,
Tiffany. Our commentary offers a humorous take on wrestling. Please note, we're not bullying or attacking the wrestlers. We're engaging with the choreographed sport and its storylines. Our jokes and observations are about the characters and storylines, not the real people behind them. Tourists and citizens alike, welcome. Enjoy the show, and remember, it's all in good fun.
oh Lord Jesus. Welcome to the show. We are here after where Raw would normally be on right now. We're here giving you guys the rundown of Raw. So Raw came on at 2:00 today. And it was a very good show. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm not gonna, be mean or say that it was trash, because it wasn't. It was a very good show. So shout out to WWE for actually doing something good this week. Hello to everybody in the comments. How y'all doing? I hope y'all had a good day. Hey, Keisha girl. Hi. Hello, Melina. How are you? You're very much a, main character person. I love that for you. Hello, Sasha. How are you? All right, Aaliyah's here. I got 2 moderators in the chat. Very good. Okay. So let's get into the show. Let me tell y'all how it went down. I did give y'all a little bit over on my Instagram. So if you missed that, you missed some stuff. Plus, I also uploaded those videos over here to my shorts. So you got a little bit of what happened on the show, but we're about to give you the full shebang. Okay. Now, Roman decided he was kicking off the show, obviously. And he was like, you know what? It's time for Jacob to pay up. Like I did everything he wanted. We had the 2 matches. He wanted Tribal Combat, did. He wanted to have a match at Backlash, did. And he lost both of them. So it's time for him to pay the piper. Now, one thing I do not like, that I have never been a fan of, I do not like watching men be emasculated on TV. That's just not my forte. That's not my ministry. So I'm not a fan, but this was not emasculating. This was a humbling situation for Jacob. And it made me sad, because Jacob was he's such a full of life type of person. You could tell. So seeing him feel and look so broken, and Roman's reaction to it is just, in time you'll get over it, Nobody has done that to Roman Reigns yet. He has yet to be put in his place. He has yet to be broken like that. So I'm just waiting for the day. Doesn't look like that day is coming anytime soon, because you fucks keep making that man popular. So we're stuck. With that being said, Roman asked for Torino to acknowledge him, and they did. And then y'all favorite Jey Uso decided he wanted to act Mr. Get Bad and call out Jacob Fatu. And Jacob made it very clear. He said, yeah, Roman, you beat me, and I can't even be mad about that, but you ain't beat nothing. And I'm not bowing to your bitch ass, talking to Jey Uso. And Jey Uso was looking at Roman like, hey, get your mans. Like, nah, fam. mind your business. You feel me? Everybody's going to get in line like they're supposed to. Jacob is a man of his word. He acknowledged the tribal chief, and now he's in the fold. So now, the story is going like this. Roman Reigns seems to have quite the hit list.
I did.
And if you ain't know, now you know. Okay? He said after they get Jacob in line, the next person that they were going after was none other than Solo and his MFTs. And eventually, they would make their way back to the champion, Cody Rhodes. Now, how are they going to do that? Well, they started with Jey Uso. You see, Roman made it very clear that he wants the family to have all the gold. Doesn't mean he wants the Usos back in title contingency in terms of tag team, but he wants the family to gain gold. So he doesn't want Cody Rhodes to have the title. That loss is sticking in his craw. No matter how he tries to shake it, no matter how he fights it, he lost to Cody Rhodes. And that is something that he just can't seem to get over. And with that being said, he's not really giving Cody any play just yet, but that will ramp up towards Crown Jewel. Because if you remember, Crown Jewel is when everybody goes for the big belt. The one that lets everybody know that you are the guy. And everybody has had that belt except for Roman Reigns. He's never held the Crown Jewel belt. And if they have it their way, and Cody Rhodes is still champion by then, they get to have a revisit of that match where Roman will probably go over on Cody, and this will allow them to add to whatever feud that they have now and kind of stretch it out. So when they actually go back again for a third time, they won't have to do a whole nother three-peat. They'll already have their third and final bout. You feel me? So they won't meet each other until later on down the line. At least in my opinion, they won't. But he's sending Jey Uso over to SmackDown to take back the championship. Now, how is Jey Uso going to do that? He's going to do it because of the King of the Ring tournament. Jey Uso is in the tournament, and the tournament is where we're going to have an interesting time. You see, this past Monday, well, clearly a couple of hours ago, the very first King of the Ring match, tournament match, happened. Carmelo Hayes, Solo Sikoa, Obafemi, and Penta all competed in the very first round of the King of the Ring tournament. Now, this match was really good. The interesting part about this tournament was that Obafemi was clearly injured, and I didn't see anybody capitalizing on that injury, which was a little baffling for me. You have one of the most dominant and formidable people in wrestling currently right now in terms of Obafemi, and you're telling me that nobody capitalized on this man's injury? Obafemi was wrestling with one arm, and all of them did their best to calm that monster, including using Tala Tonga, putting that all into it, but it didn't work. Oba was able to recover and come in and pick up the W. He is advancing in the tournament, but Obafemi had a message after he won his match, and he made it very clear that while his eyes are set on that King of the Ring tournament and becoming the number one contender for whatever title he chooses, I assume, he has not forgotten about Brock Lesnar. And he says, make no mistake, we are 1-1, and I will come back and get you later. So, Obafemi has advanced, ladies and gentlemen. Now, every time somebody advances in a tournament, I will simply write their name in the bracket instead of waiting for them to put out new brackets because I don't have time. So, Obafemi has advanced. Speaking of the tournament, on the women's side, we had a match between Io Sky, Julia, Lash Legend, and Roxanne Perez, to which Io Sky was able to advance. However, the interesting thing about this is when you get to the back. In the back, Roxanne was down on herself for losing and not being able to advance. And everybody seemed to be comforting her except for Liv Morgan. She went and got her crown fitted for her head for the Queen of the Ring tournament. And one has to ask, how can you go get your crown fitted for your head when two of your homegirls is in this tournament? So you're just expecting them to lose. Fair enough. Roxanne lived up to the expectation. Don't know how this is going to work out for Raquel Rodriguez, but Roxanne definitely said, since we're a family, I could have used some family. Like, what's up? It's a fatal four-way. And Liv Morgan came up with an excuse, a bullshit excuse. And then she was like, me and Daddy Dom are going to be king and queen of the ring, and it's going to be so perfect. And Roxanne was like, Raquel was like, you? So you have to ask, why is Liv Morgan in this tournament to begin with?
Why would they make me do that job?
I don't know. Is it to give some insight into Judgment Day? Like, you could have done that without putting her in that match. I don't like the fact that she's in it and she is the current women's champion, right? Because it doesn't make any sense. The winner challenges the champion at SummerSlam. That is the goal. So what are we doing? If she wins, who's going to be her challenger? None of this makes sense. Now, other people were justifying this by saying that there were other champions in the match. Every other champion in that match have all been mid-card champions. There's never been a full-on WWE,
Bailed out.
You know what I'm saying, world champion or world heavyweight champion in said match competing to be queen or king of the ring when the biggest prize is not only the crown, but it is also a clear ticket to SummerSlam. Guaranteed. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Serena was having a good time and they had like perfect pitch. They were singing on key all night. I was like, go off turret. Period. So there's another problem I have with this tournament. I'm not mad at Io Sky, but I am mad at WWE. You had a prime opportunity to give Julia a real push here, and you had her be the one to eat the pin in this match. Roxanne could have ate that pin if we're being honest. Okay, Lash could have ate that pin, and I hate to say it for Lash because I love her and I don't want her to be like at the bottom of the barrel either. But come on, like, I'm not saying that Io hasn't earned the right to be one of the top girls. I'm not saying that at all, but this is the first time that Julia was able to perform in one of her hometowns. Okay, you had a prime opportunity here to give her a really good opening, a really good shine, and you squandered it. You did the same thing with Javon Evans when he went home to North Carolina. It's like y'all are intentionally giving people shitty times in their hometowns unless it means something to them. Unless it means something to you. Like, you could have given Julia this W. It's not like she was going to advance in the tournament anyway, but let her have it. Io Sky has more opportunities. She could have advanced in another one. I'm not saying that, you know what I'm saying, she's not deserving of, Night of Champions. I'm saying she has had many opportunities that Julia hasn't, and you could have given Julia this one. It wasn't going to kill you. But I stand by what I said in this title of this video. I think Liv Morgan is a snake in the grass, and I think that her true colors are going to come out during this goddamn tournament. And instead of them paying attention, they're going to ignore it. I'm telling you. they're going to ignore it. But, you know, niggas and flags. Like I said, Io Sky won. She advanced. She is going to the semifinals of the Queen of the Ring tournament. He called Kevin. He wasn't calling you. Now, the final throws of this show was Seth Rollins and Bron Breakker. Bron Breakker and Seth Rollins put on a really good match to close out the show. And the best part about this was some of the antics in this match. So, Seth Rollins literally pedigreed Bron Breakker onto the announce table, almost messed his knee up doing it, but it was perfectly timed. Bron Breakker tried to spear him onto the table, but he ended up catching him in the pedigree and taking him down. Hit a second pedigree in the ring, couldn't keep Bron Breakker down. He kicks out.
What is 47 doing? You left 9 open.
Now, later on in the match, as the match was winding down, we saw Austin Theory show up. And Austin Theory is the one who caused the chaos. So, as Theory was showing up, we saw Montez show up after and evened the odds. This led to Paul Heyman interfering in this match. The best part about this was Seth getting out of the ring and going after Paul. You see, Paul thought that he could just bait Seth into talking cash shit against him, and then, you know, he'd be so distracted that Bron Breakker would hit Seth with his tumultuous spear and call it a day. Oh, but nay. What ended up happening is that Paulina suffered the brunt of that spear. It is pretty bad, but it was so glorious to watch. It was sensational. It was amazing. I could watch that over and over and over again. The satisfaction of watching that man go through that barricade to this day will be one of the greatest gifts that WWE has ever given me. Greatest gifts. I live for it. It was incredible. If you have not seen it, I highly recommend that you go and watch it. Because, if you've been waiting for the day where Paul Heyman eats his fucking words, and I mean literally, this is one of those days. It warmed my heart. It was so good. Afterwards, Bron Breakker suffered a curb stomp, and it was 1, 2, 3, lights out. Seth Rollins has successfully beaten Bron Breakker. Now, where the interesting part about this comes into play is still with the tournament. It all lies in the tournament. You see, let me get my logo off so you can see. Okay, and let me take down the chat box so you can see. Seth Rollins and Bron Breakker are both in this tournament on opposite sides of the bracket. You see on the side where Obafemi is, Bron Breakker's match is more than likely going to be on Monday, right? So you have Rey Mysterio, you have Dom Mysterio, Bron Breakker, Trick Williams, and Damian Priest. Now, they may do this match Friday, but I think that they should do Rollins, Evans, Tonga, and Saints match on Friday instead of going to Breakker. Let Rollins advance, but Breakker just may cost Rollins his opportunity in the King of the Ring tournament. So I'm thinking that they're either going to cost each other their opportunities, or one of them will advance while the other one costs the other the opportunity. The only reason why I say that is because, to me, it doesn't make sense for either of them to advance in this tournament, and they need to be put out. Now, is it possible that one of the three men in their respective matches could get the drop on them and actually win? Yes, it's very possible. But the story-wise, I don't think that is necessarily going to be the case. If it were me, I would have Dawkins come in and cost Bron Breakker that title. that opportunity 100% because Dawkins is older receipt. But I would have it so that he was beating the hell out of Austin Theory with that chair, and Bron Breakker gets distracted and ends up suffering a loss in this particular match. Now, I wouldn't mind if Breakker advanced and he went up against Obafemi and got beat by Obafemi. I would love that. So if that's what they want to do, sure, you've got plenty of options, so many different avenues as to when you can make this work without Bron Breakker advancing to the finals. But it would be fun to watch either way. You get what I'm saying? So we also have on the other side of the bracket, like I said, we have Rollins, Evans, Tonga, and Saints. And then on the bottom, you have Uso, Knight, Keys, and Jacob. Speaking of LA Knight, he seemed to be very rattled by the formulation of the new bloodline and Roman Reigns being back on the top of the mountain. And he seems to be very much dedicated to eradicating all of that. So much so he's losing his fucking mind. He's blaming Adam Pearce like Pearce is a part of the conspiracy. And it kind of gives like OG Sami Zayn conspiracy theory. It gives Miz conspiracy theory. And I like it though because it works with LA Knight. And I think they're getting ready to flip him back to being a heel, which I think would work for him very well. But it's going to be interesting to see because Roman has a lot of challengers on the Raw roster. And it's wild that they're doing King of the Ring and CM Punk has not come back yet. Interesting. Anywhoosies, currently you have Seth Rollins over there as a potential opponent for that title. He has made it clear that he's not done with it and he wants to go back after it. You currently have LA Knight as a potential opponent for that title. Bron Breakker for a potential opponent for that title. And you have Obafemi later on down the line who could be a potential opponent for that title. And if we're being fair, once Bronson Reed shows back up, Bronson Reed could be a potential opponent for that title as well. So you have 5 contenders who could possibly go after Roman Reigns as champion. It's a very, very steep hill to the champ. And they've got like 3 people to go through before they even get to him. And if they absorb Solo, Tama Tonga, and Tala Tonga, then the bloodline is going to be even stronger than ever. And that is problematic in itself. But to get back to the tournament for King and Queen of the Ring, let's talk about the ladies. Let's talk about the ladies. So we already know that Perez, Julia, and Legend are out. But here we have Liv Morgan, Becky Lynch, Bliss, and Chelsea Green, which they seem to be competing on Friday for the Queen of the Ring tournament. Now, I want to talk about the other brackets because the bracket at the bottom has Sol Ruka, Lyra Valkyria, Charlotte Flair, and Jade Cargill. I don't think that Jade Cargill and Charlotte Flair are going to advance. They're going to be too busy arguing and fighting with themselves. The problem is they're going to cancel each other out. So it's going to come down to Ruka and Lyra Valkyria, which we saw today that Lyra Valkyria is going back after that Intercontinental Championship, which really baffled me because when AJ Lee had the title, you were silent. You had no care in the world to go back after that title, and Becky didn't have it. So you could have very well been going after that title when AJ Lee had it. So what happened? And the way you did your homegirl today, the way you kind of sidestepped Bayley and left her in the dust so you can go back after that title, if I was Bayley, I would be going after that title before you. Because if we being honest, your ass don't deserve a title shot, but Bayley does. Okay? You do not deserve a title shot. And you shouldn't get one. You just shouldn't get one. I just don't understand the logic behind it. Like, what are you doing? And Bayley was legit in the middle of a conversation. You was just like, yeah, hold on. Let me go talk to her right quick. And it's like, girl, this your homegirl. I thought that was your homegirl. At least you could have done is waited till the conversation was over and told Bayley to just hold up. I'll be right back. Then you completely forgot about y'all playing. You and Queen of the Ring, you're going to go up against Sol Ruka for Queen of the Ring. I guarantee you're not getting that title off of her. But I think that if she don't, and she's not going to win Queen of the Ring, this is going to be the catalyst to turn Lyra Valkyria into a villain because Lyra have not been a villain yet. And it's about high time that she was one. Okay? So we'll see how that plays out too. But like I said, this bracket, half of this bracket ain't going nowhere. I don't believe for a second that Charlotte and Jade Cargill are going to be able to be in this match and hyper fixate on getting Queen of the Ring. Now, I wouldn't mind if Charlotte wins and advances and she actually gets Queen of the Ring, because Charlotte is the queen of WWE. She's been having that moniker for years. And I think it's high time that she become Queen of the Ring. Now, if she faces off against Io Sky, it's going to be a good matchup. You don't know who's going to win. Now, my predictions. I am going to lean into this because I don't think for a minute that they're going to waste this opportunity with Liv Morgan being in this tournament. That lady's going to advance in this tournament. And I hate that for Bliss and for Chelsea Green. But I would prefer if it was Chelsea or Bliss that advanced in this on that bracket of the tournament. But I'm going to lean with what I know. And I'm going to go with Liv Morgan. If they pick someone else, I'll be fine with that. But I'm going to go with Liv Morgan for that side of the bracket. On the bottom half of the bracket, I think that Sol Ruka is going to advance in this tournament. Now, that means they're going to revisit Sol Ruka versus Liv Morgan. I don't think for a minute that Liv Morgan is getting past the semifinals. Quite frankly, I think she's going to lose and blame them for not helping her, and they're going to be mad about it. Now, on the right-hand side, lower right-hand side of the bracket, you got Bayley, Raquel, JC Jane, and Kiana James. JC Jane is going to advance on that side of the bracket. And it's going to be JC Jane versus Io Sky. I put money on that. I will put money on that. So my bracket, which I'll do a fake bracket. I won't do it this way. I'll set it up and post it. I'm going to do my bracket. Io Sky, JC Jane, Sol Ruka, and Liv Morgan. Sol Ruka will advance over Liv Morgan. Io Sky will advance over JC Jane. If JC Jane advances, I'm not mad about that either. Then you got two new girls from NXT fighting it out in the end. And I would rather it be Sol, but they more than likely will give it to JC Jane if JC Jane is the one that advances against Io Sky. Now, if it's Io Sky and Sol Ruka in the end, it's going to make me believe that they're giving the edge to Io Sky, and Io Sky will be the one headed to SummerSlam to face off against Liv Morgan more than likely, okay? Because it doesn't seem like Stephanie has been cleared to come back just yet. Brian Breaker spearing Paul Heyman was the best part of the night. So goddamn and hilarious at the same time. I could watch that over people hours. See, I told you. It's the gift that keep on giving. Hello. In the first round, I think it will be Alexa Bliss. Okay. All right. Now, we saw a few things backstage. I just quickly mentioned we saw Bayley have a little, tryst with her friend Lyra Valkyria, but we also saw the LA Knight situation, and we also saw Maxine. Maxine was talking to Adam about being left out of the Queen of the Ring tournament. She feels like people are underestimating her. She feels like they're not really giving her an opportunity to prove who she is, and she doesn't feel like she has to prove herself anymore. She feels like she's done everything she should be doing, and she should be respected for that. And she feels like Adam Pearce doesn't respect her. So Adam is trying to tell her that the field was very vast for this tournament, and it was stacked. He didn't leave her off intentionally. He had to make some hard decisions for the people who were in the tournament. So unfortunately, she didn't make the cut this time, and she was like, so you're underestimating me too. And he's like, Maxine, you know that I love and respect you. I would never just leave you off of the tournament, but I promise you, if there are any more opportunities coming up, I got you. Maxine then calmed down and accepted what he said. And then she moved on. Now, Otis was trying to tell her, like, hey, babe, listen. I seen you hanging out with Austin Theory. That's real cute. But you know, Austin Theory is bad news. Like, you shouldn't be kicking it with him. You shouldn't be hanging out with him. And she's like, look, y'all gonna have to trust me, okay? Like, I can make my own decisions. I got my own mind. I'm not listening to nobody but myself. You know what I'm saying? So, like, y'all just gonna have to trust me on this one. Then she walked away. So it leads me to believe that very soon Austin Theory is going to end up having a match either with Akira Tozawa or Otis. And of course, Maxine is going to turn on her friends and stand up for her man. If you call him a man, sure. You pick the lamest nigga in the group to attach yourself to. Is wild. Wildest thing I've heard all day. The lamest nigga in the group. The lamest nigga in the group is who you attach yourself to. At least attach yourself to Bron Breakker. I know that's a situation like he's really dating Izzy Dame in real life, but look, she married and he got a whole woman in real life. We talking kayfabe storyline. Okay, this is not real. So if I'm gonna attach myself to somebody, I'm damn sure going for the big guy. I'm going for fucking Bron Breakker. What's wrong with you? You want to attach yourself to fucking Austin Theory to create a car character in the whole storyline? Wild shit. Okay? Absolute batshit bonkers. So, don't know how that's going to play out, but I like I said, I have an inkling of how that's going to work. Maxine is going to end up turning on her homeboys and leaving them in the dust. She's already been caught riding in the car with them, been caught talking to Austin Theory multiple times. It's only a matter of time before we see Maxine reveal herself as someone who is on Austin Theory's side. I have a sneaky suspicion that it's either going to happen sometime around Night of Champions or SummerSlam when they actually have to defend those tag team titles, and he will that'll be a big old thing that they'll do or whatever. And I think that's it. I think I covered everything. You know what I'm saying? For Monday Night Raw. Now, as I said, this tournament is going to be a fun time. Now, I saw a lot of people Sunday, Mikey was asking why they had to do this 4-round tournament. Well, let's look at it. Okay, let's look at the date of class on Night of Champions. Night of Champions is June 27th. This is the 1st of June, so we got 1, 2, 3 weeks before we get to Night of Champions. They did 2 matches tonight. They did 1 queen and 1 king. Friday, they're going to do 1 king and 1 queen. Monday, they're going to do 1 king and 1 queen. And then Friday, let me see. Let's look at it. So we do 1 king and 1 queen on Friday. And they probably going to do the last match for the men on Monday, the last match of the men on Friday, or they'll do that final match for the women on Monday and the final match for the men. They probably gonna space it out because they want to make sure they have it on every show. Then you got that following week, the semifinals, right? The semifinals is that following week, that Monday, and then that Friday, and then you have the finals that Monday, and that is the same week. This is why they had to do it the way that they did it. If they stretched it out, too many people would be competing in too many matches, and you would have had to run the risk of a lot of people getting injured. This is why they did Fatal 4-Ways. And to me, that was smart. It kept the bracket small, but it also let a lot of people in the tournament at one time, and you get 1 shot, 1 kill at this point. So, Night of Champions is June 27th, and they will be in Riyadh. It is going to be on a Saturday, and I'm assuming that this is going to be in the morning, or rather in the afternoon as well, between 12 and 3, because that's usually what happens. They are still going to be on their European tour as well. Let me see if I can find it. There we go. So we've already knocked down the Liverpool, Barcelona, and the 2 touring dates. They are done. We now have three house shows that they're going to be doing from tomorrow to Thursday. The schedule for this overseas tour is nuts. Friday, they're going to be in still in Italy. They're going to be in Bologna, Italy. Don't mess with me about the pronunciation. All I see is Bologna. I'm assuming it's Bologna. Bologna. That's what my husband would call it. But anyways, so the next Monday Night Raw, let me take down the chat box so you guys can see. The next Raw episode will be in Paris, France. Okay. And then they have a final Raw episode in London in the O2 Arena. And I believe that those shows will probably be at 4 instead of being at 2 in the afternoon because of the time zone and everything. But the Friday night SmackDowns don't change. They'll be at regular scheduled time, so don't worry yourselves too much. But I'm very curious as to how they're going to book Night of Champions. It looks like Cody Rhodes' opponent for Night of Champions is going to be Gunther. And to be fair, he is owed another match due to the stipulations from the previous match that he just had. But I am curious about Roman and what's going to happen with him and who he's going to be competing against. There is no Jacob, and they are slowly building a feud with Solo, but it's not prevalent. And every championship is usually defended at Night of Champions. So this is going to be an interesting time. Except for Liv Morgan's. For whatever reason, they've decided that, well, she doesn't have to defend her title. She gets to compete in the Queen and King of the Ring tournament. Yay. Anywhoosies, hopefully we'll see tag team titles being defended. Hopefully we'll see the IC title or maybe the US title being defended. Right now we are stuck and we are, just getting ourselves to a point where things are just starting to pick up. Roman's got a big line of opponents ahead of him. It's going to be interesting to watch how that plays out with the new version of his family.
Oh.
Rhea Ripley is no longer having to worry about Jade Cargill, so who her next opponent will be is also going to be very interesting. It's a lot going on, but a lot of open-ended questions that I hope will be answered within the next week or so. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Monday Night Raw, our review, our after show, because it was a fun time. Now, tomorrow over on NXT, there's a few matches that you should be concerned with if you care about NXT. Cam Hendricks is facing off against Tony D'Angelo for the NXT Championship, and Lexis King will be defending his Speed Championship against this newcomer. I think his name is Romeo or Romero. So, Turin, you were an amazing audience. You were long-winded, but you were an amazing audience. It was fun to watch. I love when they go overseas because the overseas crowd is ravenous. The only thing I don't like is that y'all racist. Because all the black women that came out there, y'all booed them to hell. Booed them to hell. Do you hear me? I did not like that. But it is what it is. Okay, I ain't gonna be on y'all ass too much. I will say though, y'all need to respect the black girls. Okay. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, please make sure you rate, comment, and subscribe. It is important. Not only is WWE still going to be on their tour for the summer, but they also have a Mexico live tour. And that is going to be in September. Now, remember, in September is Money in the Bank. They're going to Mexico for 2 nights. Also, they're going to be there for SmackDown and that following Monday for Monday Night Raw. So they have a 4-day live tour along with 2 taped shows for Raw and SmackDown. So WWE is moving global streets, honey. They are not playing. Now, their other company, AAA, is starting to advertise for Triple Mania, which is supposed to be on September 11th. 9/11, and it's supposed to be in Las Vegas. They're going to have a 2-night event for AAA. It's going to be one on Friday, and then they're going to finish out on Sunday, I believe. So they're going to skip Saturday and give you Sunday, and I imagine that has something to do with Money in the Bank. I'm going to double check. Interesting, because Money in the Bank is not until September 6th, so it's way before Triple Mania. It's way before Triple Mania, and that is interesting. I wonder. Very interesting indeed. Hold tight, y'all. Give me a minute. Oh, my back is hurting, child. I'm getting old. My bike. Her detective hat has risen. I'm trying to find it, Ilya, but I don't think that is happening. So I don't know why they skipped Saturday, but went to Sunday. I'm not sure why they did that. But either way, it's very interesting. However, Money in the Bank is September 6th. So it's a week before Triple Mania and that Mexico tour that they're going to have. It's well before that. So it's very interesting indeed, is all I can say. So Money in the Bank is going to be in New Orleans this year. And we love that. But it's going to be on September 6th. At least for now, from what it says on the Googler, it's going to be on September 6th. Okay. So we got a lot going on this year. And I'm sure there's some PLEs in between there, WrestlePalooza or whatever. She said, I also found that Jordan was on a dark match in Italy with Kiana before main event. Yeah, Jordan's been doing a lot of dark matches as of lately. Jordan was injured prior to her being on main event and on the dark matches. But Jordan has recovered from said injury, and now they're slowly integrating her back in. But she's been doing a couple of dark matches for WWE, so that's not like news to me. I am sad that she wasn't a part of the Queen of the Ring tournament. I feel like Jordan Grace should have been one of the girls in there. I don't know exactly what they're doing with this women's division and all of this shit, but it just seems like they're making unnecessary moves that they don't have to, and they could very well make this a very simple transition, but also give people real opportunities here and build new stars. They're not doing that. They're resting on people who are already stars, and I don't know. I don't like that. But I'll be back Wednesday, and we'll be talking about NXT, and we can talk about the tournament and all that good stuff on Wednesday, because I want to hear you guys' thoughts. I want to hear you talk about it. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to get my black ass out of here. I'm going to play out my friend Janae's song because I love it, and it is my song of the summer, and I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Bye.
just hit the weekend. Got a bottle of Grandma ready. Got a shorty, I've been vibing with steadily. We feeling each other heavy. She got that energy, it's electric. West Coast girl, she classic. Damn, she got that magic. She real, never fake, no style. She got that summertime. We out here living right now. She got that summertime. Ain't thinking about nothing else. Went through all 3 seasons. She my summertime for a reason. She got that summertime. Her heat got me feeling.
Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe for more wrestling content. Check out our merch and consider becoming a member for exclusive perks, special emojis, and members-only content.